Aging is inevitable, but the pressure to look like we're not aging, that's relentless. Everywhere we turn, we're being bombarded with miracle creams, needle promises, and anti-aging hacks that leave us more confused and more frustrated than ever. As women, we're constantly told to fight the clock, fix our flaws, and somehow glow like we did at 25, all while juggling everything else life throws at us, which is a lot. So, how do we cut through the noise and actually support our skin in a way that works with our biology, not against it? That's exactly why I brought back one of my absolute favorite skincare experts, Amitay Eschel. Amitay is the co-founder and CEO of one of my favorite of all time skincare lines, Young Goose. And he's the host of the Biohacking Beauty podcast. He's a leading voice in the world of skin optimization and longevity, combining the latest science in biohacking, skincare, and cellular rejuvenation. With over a decade of experience in the health and beauty space, he's been featured on countless podcasts and stages, including Biohacking Congress and Keto Con. So I am so excited to have you back on the show. It's been just over a year.
Oh my God, we've
It's going to have to be a
calendarily
yearly
we
thing.
calendarily we've aged a year. Biologically, I don't know, but calendarily.
Well, I can honestly say I just was telling somebody this recently because they were asking me about what products I use, and they're
Hmm.
like, tell me what are your top, and
Uh-huh.
have it has it really helped? And I'm
Hmm.
like, you know what? I can honestly say my skin is better now a year and a half later than it was before. Like it has, and I just never thought that that would actually happen. Like to be honest.
Karen, you are now being recorded on my end. That this is going to be on an ad tomorrow.
Oh,
No, but listen, when I sat here listening to your intro to the podcast, and you know what occurred to me? It's something that I really was talking about in the beginning, and I think because of politically correctness, I kind of strayed away from it. But with the pressure that now men are exposed to some extent, but really women are subconsciously exposed to, is because, when we lived in caves, obviously, in the biohacking or in the longevity field, even in history and philosophy, we always kind of want to take it back to when we lived in caves. What
mhm.
did we evolve to do then, and how does it affect us today? Because we're not an apex predator. We're a sheep with nuclear weapons, as Yuval Noah Harari says. Um, so women are, or females in nature, their main job is reproduction,
Mhm.
and the hierarchical sub context that we are all living subconsciously with um, puts a pressure on obviously being higher in the hierarchy, any hierarchy. And that's not something obviously you and I could feel any way we want about it, but this is how we're wired.
This is how we're wired. Yep.
Yeah, and for women, there is a pressure to, at least hierarchically, there is a pressure to still look sexually viable,
Yeah. Yes.
reproductively viable.
Yeah.
So that is a lot of the trends in anti-aging, which is, I think, a category that kind of covers everything from longevity to surgery to injectables, whatever that is, um, in-office treatments, whatever that is an industry that really has a promise of making you look closer to your sexual prime.
Right.
Um, but I think it's an insincere industry because I'm the provider, you're my patient. We have an understanding that what I'm going to do is just make you look like it. There's not going to be any mechanistic um, process that actually makes you younger, that actually makes you more like a like your cells behaved in their prime.
No.
And I don't know if you know the famous I don't know if it's that famous, but there was a study polling professional or Olympic athletes, if they are willing to die in 5 years if they won a gold medal, and basically virtually all of them said yes.
Mm.
So that is a kind of a mirror image to this philosophy where people are sacrificing their health, their skin's longevity, their function later on to look more sexually viable today.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, what we do, what my credo is, and I do very little in Young Goose anymore. Like our credo in Young Goose, and I would like to believe this is also your credo with the products that you make, and also the credo of what you are trying to promote. And I know it's what you're doing, is trying to find a way to give the consumer what they want, but do it in a way which is true to the biological principles of longevity.
Mhm.
Obviously, estrogen, estradiol, estriol are like a clear example of that, right? Like we're taking hormones to where they were when we were at our peak, but that's basically the basic premise. But that applies to many, many, many other processes, molecules, and behaviors.
Mhm. Yeah. It's, I really try to create a balance between my feminism, but also honoring that, like, biologically, we are driven to stay looking young as possible. And that's
Yeah,
because biologically men are attracted to fertile women, and that's a chemical thing. It's a pheromone thing. It's like we can only blame you guys so much for, like, oh, you're always attracted to the younger women or whatever, which is not a blanket term. I know that not all men are, but naturally men are driven to be attracted to fertility, and that's because we had to keep the species going. And so
yeah,
there's this, like, I want women to be encouraged to embrace their aging and embrace the lines, but at the same time, I want them to be able to not feel judged or ashamed that they want to have a facelift or want to do Botox or want to buy expensive skincare, because, we do deep down inside, we want to look good. We want to look nice as
yeah,
possible. And I think that that's
yeah.
okay. So it's just trying to create that balance and know that this is a natural thing to want.
Yeah, yeah, and by the way, like I was talking to Anastasia, my wife, the other day, and I was talking about something that I didn't understand that my fellow males do. I don't remember what it is, but I remember say, oh, I think it was like I think I realized that when I was younger, I thought I'm very lucky that I found Anastasia, but I understood polygamy. Like I understood the idea, especially for men. I understood the idea of like, you wanting to spread your seed.
Mhm.
When I was talking with her, and again, like it wasn't virtue signaling because I would voice my opinions. I'm very lucky, very happy. I think I won the lottery. Having said that, I understand men who feel otherwise, feel it, attraction or feeling or have the need to pursue multiple women. And my epiphany was that I think for mental health, there is a higher tier there, which is understanding that designing your life where you're not chasing multiple relationships, but deepening one relationship, is a more happy trajectory, which I didn't think about before. And I think that connects to what you're saying, where um, we talk a lot about like Botox alternatives, but I completely understand men and women who want to do Botox. And I will state, here's what you can expect. Here are the potential drawbacks, and here are the advantages. And I will be very clear, and maybe I'll talk about fillers, and I'll say, hey, these are the advantages, but your tissue morphs together with the foreign substance that you're using, and you get a gel-like tissue that doesn't get blood flow and is somewhere between, like it's an alien tissue that is not doesn't
Oh.
exist in nature. Or I'll talk about, microneedling radio frequency, and I'll say, hey, you're basically like burning off fat, you're creating scar tissue in your skin. But you look younger for like 3 months.
Oh,
So it's
that's
important, I
terrible.
think, to have a very conscious decision of what you're doing.
Hmm.
And I mean, people get face tattoos all the time. So as long as they I mean, like, that's not the extreme. Like needles in your face are not the extreme. Like, a
Hmm.
dragon's tail on your nose is the extreme. And I see people in Florida with that all the time. So, you know,
That's,
just putting
do
things
you,
under proportion.
how old are you?
38,
38.
almost
Okay.
39, yeah.
How old's your wife?
35, 36,
Okay, so she's
almost.
younger.
Yeah.
And do you worry about aging skin? I mean, you're in the skincare business, but do you actually look at your face and do you worry and do you pick it apart and you're like, oh my gosh, look
No,
at the lines that are popping out?
no,
No.
no.
And do you
I'm a
think you ever
nerd.
will?
Maybe I'm a nerd, so I'm very interested in it. So obviously my vocation,
Hmm.
and I feel a responsibility to have healthy skin because I am a leader of a movement.
Of course, yeah.
Um, and I use our products, and I definitely am looking to see what works and what needs to be improved. But I do jujitsu like 2 hours a day to the point where it's unhealthy for my, you know, I think something that's not talked about is more metabolism equals more aging.
Hmm.
So could have other things that
Because
are
of the stress in the
counteracting that.
system.
Because more energy. So you could think of like a ticking clock or an ATM with a finite amount of money. Like the more you take out, the less you're going to have. And more metabolism just means more free radicals that are moving around,
Hmm.
means more, yeah, more MMPs or cortisol drives MMPs. So,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
but more, cytocholamines that are
Hmm.
that are in circulation that the body needs to dispose of later on or cleanse. So like catecholamines. But so like you're looking at I definitely overtrain. Like
Hmm.
and definitely I don't know if you can say I have a black eye at the moment. So
Oh,
like I'm not, I'm an idiot. But part of my idiot nature is that I'm also obsessed about making other people's skin more biologically younger or functioning in a more youthful manner. Um, but as we've spoken off here, I do a lot for other people that I don't necessarily um, that I'm just interested in doing, right?
yes.
Like this
Right.
is
Yeah.
interesting to me
Yeah.
for me to do. And obviously, thankfully, with youthful skin, it's also a business that is successful.
Yeah.
So that's a plus, I guess. You know, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I asked because my husband once told me that he had never looked in the mirror and cut himself down and his looks down. He's never said like, "Oh man, look at me, I'm aging." And I was like,
I don't.
"What? Really? You've
I'm
never?"
I'm I'm uninterested in looking at mirrors. I can tell you that.
Mm,
Like maybe
okay.
my body because I get less sleep because we have a 1 year or 15-month-old. And my vanity lies in my athletic performance and my youthful
Okay.
function in the gym. And I wrestle with 23-year-olds that are out of Division 1 wrestling in college, and that's hard mentally. Um, so that's where my vanity lies. That's where my ego is.
Okay.
So maybe I look in the mirror if I can see my abs through my belly fat, but it's not gonna be my face. Like to be honest, the times I look at my face is when I shave.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, you look good. You don't look 30. You could pass for 25 still. So you're doing well. Whatever you're doing,
That's
keep doing
that
it.
that's it. That's a successful filter. Whatever filter Zoom puts on, successful one.
No, I just saw you in person a few days ago, so
That's
that's
true.
not true.
That's true.
You look great.
Thanks.
No, okay, so I do want to jump into all those things that you were just talking about, like the
Yeah.
Botox, the fillers,
Hmm.
because that is a big thing. And today I really want to take the time to clear up some of the things that, yeah, that we're being told that we should be doing that maybe actually are more harmful than
Yeah.
than beneficial. But starting just kind of going back to my own personal experience with
Hmm.
skincare, my whole life I've never done anything but, a bar of soap, and I used to make my own cream that I would use on my face. And I always thought, oh, I am not going to get suckered into buying these like fancy anti-aging creams. They don't work. They don't, and I just had
Hmm.
it in my head. It was a bunch of bullshit.
Hmm.
Then I started aging. I was like, okay, well, maybe I should be paying attention to this and maybe I should start using something else. And I was so green in this world. Like I had no idea about anything.
Yeah.
And luckily, I have a very successful podcast where I now in the last couple of years, I have had so like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of products sent to me. I've
Yeah.
tried so many different things and I've landed on a couple that I are now my top picks. Yours being one of them. But I honestly did not think that I could look younger with this. Like I really thought that anti-aging creams and serums and all of this stuff would just simply help slow down the aging process, but not actually reverse some of the line, wrinkle depth and things like that. And it has. Like I wish I had a before and after picture. I just know from because I
Yeah.
unlike you, I do stare at my face in a magnified lit mirror. It's like shows every little flaw. And it's interesting. I'm like, I look younger now than I did a couple of years, like before starting
Yeah.
to use your product. So that is it's a testimonial to you. So
Again,
I'm always extremely honest. I don't bullshit. I don't like I've chosen your products to promote because they work.
so I think what you're saying is interesting, and I don't know how down a rabbit hole I should go, but I think, I think a good response to what you have before I go down a rabbit hole is this. The youthful function and reduction of biological age, um, and then uh, rewinding the appearance of aging are two
Mhm.
separate trajectories. And
Okay.
as I said before, technically speaking, there are processes there that are going to make you look younger without doing any of the cellular biological work at all. So the best way to do those things is actually to redline your skin youthfulness, youthful function, and hit it with a regenerative stimulus at that time, basically. So we don't want to do both all the time. So we don't want to like just I'll give you an example.
Mhm.
We know rapamycin is a drug, is a very potent drug, and that it really is incredible in rewinding the biological age of tissue, the skin, etc. But if I use rapamycin and use any type of stimulation, one of the effects of rapamycin is that your body doesn't perceive the inflammation as a signal for repair. So you're actually not going to heal. On the other hand, if your skin functions like a 50-year-old's skin, and then I stimulate collagen production, the skin has very little capacity on creating youthful collagen, and it's just going to create scarring. Okay. So there should be a balance of both, where I am making my skin as youthfully functioning as it can safely, and then so I don't really redline it. Like I go to the extreme as far as like what I can do safely. The best ingredient for that, by the way, people who listen to me before, they might wait for me to say NAD, but like the best ingredient for this is actually spermidine, both oral and internal, and topical
Mm.
together, and then boom, hitting it with a stimulus. How can you
Okay,
make it
when you
even
say
better?
stimulus, what are you talking about?
Microneedling,
Okay.
not radio frequency microneedling, just microneedling. Even some lasers, even like
Okay.
BBL, which is intense pulse light. or a laser like a Fraxel or Halo or CO2 or Erbium YAG laser. These are just names I threw there, but really lasers. Other more deep tissue wavelengths are never recommended, like radio frequency or HIFU, high interest in intensity focused ultrasound, like soft wave is a famous one, or Althera, and also not injectables like Kybella. This is also type of like a neck tightening or threading, which is like they put threads
Yeah.
through your
Oh,
face.
yeah.
All of
That's
those,
weird. Yeah.
you never want that.
Okay.
It never works actually to your
Okay.
benefit ever. There's no one case that it actually did anything great
Wow.
over time. Um, and I can get into it later, but for our story now, we're saying stimulus for repair, even things like peel, right? So we have professional peels, like a place in Canada, it's like Smoke House, I think it's called in Canada. It's I hope people like in Toronto know what I'm talking about because it's pretty famous as far as I understand Toronto, or you know, if people are in New York, something like the Equinox Hotel spa uses a but we have like 200 accounts in the States that do our peels with copper peptides, etc. So
Hmm.
doing kind of your own biological age reversal at home, but then hitting it with stimulation for repair is the way to go. Now, um,
And how
going it
often though? Or is it different for each thing?
different for each thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So peels, the way we design them is actually every 2 weeks for an accumulated 6 times. So in 3 months, you do 6 times, six treatments in 3 months. A lot of people space it out. They just can't go every 2 weeks. So they go once a month and it becomes a 6 month thing, but ultimately every 2 weeks. But other things like a laser is like a yearly or bi-yearly, meaning 2 times a year kind of thing. Many treatments are going to need, a session of like a series of like 3 or 4, and then you're not doing them for a while. But in general, I would just need to explain that another way to look at it is youth is order, youthful function is orderly function, and aging is chaos. It's just a lack of order. Okay, so chaos is very difficult to reorder. So once it's gone, we really need to we really need to play tricks in order to get it back. Okay.
Yeah.
Our body has mechanisms to do it on a cellular level, but anything beyond that, like wrinkle, pigmentation, rosacea, acne, not acne, acne scarring, um, laxity, all of those things,
Yes.
your body has no idea these are things that you want to rewind. In the body's case, this is gone. So we really need to play tricks on the body. We really need to do both. We can't only, as I call it, we can't wellness ourselves out of this.
Hmm.
I hope it makes sense.
Yeah. So you're saying like that we have to implement these things in order to trick the system
Yeah.
into staying youthful or
Yeah.
reversing the aging.
My favorite is microneedling because you can do it at home to some extent. Derma stamping would be a better way to do it, which you're stamping your face with something that looks like a stamp with needles
Yes.
in it.
Yes. I've seen that.
It's just a little bit cleaner than the rollers. The rollers can actually they're less precise, so they create inflammation that is not needed. Because they bore into the skin. They enter at the sub 90 degree and exit at the sub 90 degree. So they move in your skin a little bit. So it's better if you had something that goes up and down.
Uh,
Um,
and how
there are no
often should somebody be derma rolling or stamping?
even weekly, and a lot of people do it almost every day. They just do it at different areas.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But not more than that, because then can't it create damage? Then once, like if
Technically,
you're
it can
doing more
create
than once a
damage.
week?
Technically, it creates damage, but the damage we are thinking of is more like damage to, like, it really mm, disrupts your skin barrier. So the
Okay.
damage really would be a skin barrier damage rather than damage that your skin can't recover from. But yeah, you don't really want to do it, 2 to 3 times a week because you're really at the same place because you're really like not letting your skin to recover. It also depends on the depth of the needles.
Hmm.
Nowadays, there's something called nano needling, which is just to disrupt the skin barrier. It's just to make sure products can absorb a little bit more. And that could technically be done more often because it's so insignificant as far as like the damage. Um, if you're doing to a esthetician, you even going to do it, once a month because it's very deep.
Okay.
Um, Rule of thumb is collagen production is around um, over 2.5 millimeters, like over 2.5 or even like over 3.5 millimeters is collagen stimulation. And then over one would be for like, something deep that would be for things like scarring, things like that. And that you have to go to a professional.
In the ideal world, what would you say, what would you advise a woman to do that's my age, like midlife, right? 50 and up to as far as like the lasers go and the peels and the microneedling and like, do you have a regime that you think is like, okay, if it was me, I would be doing laser peels twice a year. I'd do microneedling once a month. I would do
If it was
PPL.
me,
Yeah,
if it was me, I
because you
wouldn't do
know a lot.
lasers.
Okay.
If it was me, I wouldn't do lasers.
Okay.
What I would do, if you have hyperpigmentation, I would do lasers. I would do a halo laser. It's very light, or BBL, which is a patented version of IPL. IPL and BBL are interchangeable. I'm not talking about the Brazilian butt lift, by the way. That's a different BBL. Um, but BBL or IPL are interchangeable. If you're darker, by the way, you shouldn't do IPL or BBL.
Okay.
And one of the ways to check your response to IPL or BBL is actually the color of your areolas. If
Oh,
they're very dark, it means that your body has a response, like a darker pigment it expresses. So you probably don't want to do that. But Halo is pretty good for pigmentation specifically. But what I would do is I would do microneedling at home, like once a month or once every 2 months. I would go to a microneedling, professional microneedling. Um, Lymphatic drainage, like buccal massage, and and if you could do it on a regular basis, like once a week, great. If you can just do it at home, like learn the techniques of like facial yoga or something like that, you can do it at home and do it more
oh,
often. Yeah, microneedling at home is great. I would do our peels specifically, and it's not a shameless plug, by the way. It's because it's so easy for us to make peels is we could make as many as we want or whatever.
but
So
you
I
don't
really
sell
think
those to the consumer, you just sell them to
no,
spas?
just to spas. But
And
but
to
again, it's
Karen?
to Karen. Karen can get one because of her connections to Young Goose. But
Woohoo!
uh, but basically,
Because
like
I'm a far ways from Toronto, so.
yeah, but yeah. So basically, like I will do a series every 6 months. I would say, sorry, every year I will do 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
Those, you know, 2 weeks, six treatments, at least once a year, I will do that. And I would do, instead of Botox, if you didn't want to do Botox, I would do facial acupuncture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. What about the fat grafting? I've heard about this fat grafting, like where they're taking fat from areas of the body and they'll inject it instead of a filler.
Yeah, you could do that. And I know people who do it well and safely.
Okay.
Um, it's actually there is purported risk of infection.
Yeah.
But assuming you're doing it with like Dr. Cameron Chestnut, the guy that does
Yeah.
facial plastic surgery for
He's amazing.
$150,000,
Yeah.
cool.
If
Yeah,
I ever
I'm
get a
sure he's
facelift,
fine.
that's where I'm going.
Yeah. Um, what one thing I would not recommend to do because that's like it's criminal. The fact that it's sold as a like a natural alternative to fillers is something called Easy Gel, and Easy Gel is um PRP mixed with a standard hyaluronic acid filler. And that's re-injected into your skin as if it's a regenerative
Oh, and it's
option.
not.
No, it's
No,
just,
the PRP
no.
part would be, but not. the
Yeah, but
filler,
that's kind of what
like the
I said in
junk.
the beginning. Yeah, it is more it is cumulative. It's a foreign body. It stays in your body. It limits blood circulation and lymphatic movement. It morphs together with your tissue to something that cannot be then taken out, and it becomes like a goo of partially like your tissue, partially this hyaluronic acid. Think of like a Wagyu steak rather than a normal steak. That's how your tissue looks
Yeah.
afterwards.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Neck tissue. I've heard you talk about this, and I tell you, I tell all my young friends that you just wait. You're going to hit 40 and suddenly you're going to look in the mirror and that is like one of the most noticeable signs of aging. For myself anyways, where I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what just happened to my neck tissue?" Like
Yeah.
it does not look the same. And then I have all these marks on the side of it that I think is sun damage that's been
Hmm.
coming up and chest stuff. My chest has a lot of sun damage on it, but it doesn't have a lot of wrinkles. But I know many women, they start to get the lines that go down.
Hmm.
And like, is
So,
the same stuff on the face going on the neck and the chest?
is the problem of your skin in the neck and the chest is that it has less hair follicles. That's where it starts. So
Okay.
it is thinner, but really what happens is that it has less hair follicles. From those hair follicles, that's where your body kind of secretes its natural skincare in sebum. The natural oils, etc. And with them are things that help you, like are antioxidants, for example, things that helps your skin deal with like external pollutants, UV, whatever that is, artificial light, all of those things. Um, Even EMFs. So these things, your body has some ability to shield itself from, but it is contingent on the body's ability to like produce that through your oil glands, through your so that's called sebaceous glands, but they're kind of injecting it into your hair follicle and it comes out that way. And the problem is that you just have less of it in the neck. So your
Okay.
neck actually like ages faster because you cannot provide it the same care from the inside that you would any other part of the body.
Hmm.
And over time, that's cumulative. Like, so in our 20s, we don't know or care about that.
No.
But, it's cumulative. And definitely, movement is what causes wrinkle in the end. So if someone has a heavier, not necessarily, doesn't have to be, but if someone has a heavier chest and they sleep on their side or they have a bra, anything that creates
Like
a
squishing the
folding,
skin. Yeah.
any folding that is repetitive and like a paper, like anything, imagine if you try to like break a branch that's very flexible, you have to bend it at the same place all the time, and that's how it's going to break. So um, any folding becomes predictive and predictable and repetitive, and you get wrinkles that way. So it's not just so scrapey skin isn't just like old skin. It is skin that is deprived of youthful function and molecules. So that can even change like epigenetics, like that inability to shield from the environment creates epigenetic shifts. Same way two people can age differently because of their life choices. So only from the inside out, it's very difficult to take care of the neck long term. Just as I say, wellnessing out of it is an issue. So on a cellular level, things like genes that are responsible for collagen production, elastin production, hyaluronic acid production, um, and many other factors, they just become older faster because they're less protected. The
Okay.
UV, mainly UV, but really oxidative stress like wreaks havoc on those on that epigenetic expression. But UV is worse in that factor, in that thing, in the yeah. Also, just gravity is more prominent there, right? Like this, your neck, for example, the skin faces downwards, so gravity is just a little stronger there.
So
One
what
second.
are like, is there an answer to that, to this?